So in the last beginner tutorial, we looked at setting up Java. And in this tutorial, let's see why packages are important. Packages are nothing but subfolder structures. So as we can inspect, we saw that we got source.zip file that comes with a JDK installation and also rt.jar. So if you look at the JDK installation under C Tools, JDK 8, update 131, and inside the source.zip file, you can see they all arranged into packages. So you have the Java package, then you got the lang, and then you got the Java source files like string, character, etc. Similarly, if you look at the rt.jar, which I have already extracted with the 7.zip, you have the same Java lang, and also you have other packages like IO. Everything related to IO is in the IO package, everything related to math is in the math package, everything related to security is in the security, everything related to SQL is in the SQL, and so on. So what are the benefits of these packages? Firstly, when you define packages, it's easier to maintain. So you put all the related Java source files in one package. For example, everything related to a service will go into a com.service package. Everything related to a POJO, which is a plain old Java object, will go into a com.POJO package, and so on. So generally package name is nothing but, so if you have a company called XYZ, then you will have a website, say URL, say xyz.com. In package naming, you just reverse it. So it's basically com.xyz dot, then if you're working on a project called project 1, then it's called com.xyz.project1 dot. If it is related to a service, then it will be dot service. If it is related to DAO, then it will be com.xyz.project1 dot POJO, and so on. So that's how basically the packages are named. And in addition to maintenance, there are other benefits like access protection. We'll look at that, and also naming collisions. For example, if we have two hello world.java files, and if you have, as long as you have it in different packages, one is in com.app1, another one is com.app2, then you can have the same file inside the two different folders. There won't be any name collision because one in the context of com.app1, another one is in the context of com.app2. Let's now go and create two packages. So to do that, inside the C projects folder, I have created a subfolder called com, and then inside the com there are two subfolders, main, and then another one is service. So basically com.main will be one package and com.service will be another package. Inside main, I have a Java source file called hello.java, and inside com.service, I have a file called helloservice.java. So let's open this. So hello world.java is the entry point. So the first line of any Java program is a package. So it's saying package com.main. That means when we generate a .class file, it will be going inside this subfolder com.main. And then we have an import because this hello world relies on the hello service, which is inside the com.service package. So we need to import that to be able to use it inside the com.main package. Then you have the hello world class, the main method, that's the entry point, which is doing a system.out.println as we saw earlier. And then it's making use of the hello service. So hello service.print is a static method, so you don't have to create an instance. This is a class level call. And then if you go to hello service, so this is imported in com.service package. So if you go to hello service, you can see it is packaged into com.service. So when you build the class file, it will go into com.service folder. And this is the static method Void means it doesn't return anything. Print, and all it does is system.out.println, a class in another package is called. So, and also we discussed earlier, the system is from the rt.jar, so which is in the java.lang package. You don't have to explicitly import anything from java.lang, but if you want to, you can always do it as import java.lang.system. But if you are importing any other Java class files from the Java util package or whatever, you need to explicitly specify it. So now let's save it, and next step is to compile these two. So these are the source files in .java, compile them, and we need to create the .class file. Now to compile this, we run the javac, which is a Java compiler, and you pass the package prefix or com/main, and then *.java means everything inside that package, and also then com./service and *java everything inside this com service package. So if I run this, it's compiled. Now we go to the folder structure. There should be a .class file now. Say you got a hello service Java, got a corresponding hello service class. So this is a readable source file. This is a bytecode class file. Then if you go into main, this is a readable Java file. This is a hello world.class file. So if you open this, you can see this is the bytecode. So we saw earlier that packages have the benefit of easy maintenance, and the second benefit is access protection. Now this is declared, this is the access modifier, so you can have public, private, and no access modifier and so on. So because it's public, you can access from one package which is in the com.main, and it can access the hello service because it is public. Now if I make it protected and save this, I'll go and compile this again. Now you can't compile it, so it says has protected access modifier. So this is where you can provide different levels of access. So if you don't want one package to access classes in another package, you can declare them as protected. So I have reverted the change back, I have compiled it. Now we are ready to run the hello world. So we do Java. Now since we have already compiled and created the .class file, we can run this. And now we get my first Java code without ID and with packages. A class in another package is called. So basically in Java applications, packages will be sitting under a project. So project is another folder structure that sits above the packages. So now let's, for this particular example, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder called beginner-project1 inside the projects folder, and copy or cut and paste the com packages that we have already created into this folder. So basically all the .java files and .class files along with this package structure will be going inside, instead of being inside the projects folder, it will be going inside the beginner-proj-1. So if you go inside that beginner-project1 here, com main, you have the source file and the bytecode class file. Similarly the service, you have the Java source file and the class file. Now I can go into the command prompt, change directory to C projects beginner-project-1. So this is our project, and under here we got all our packages. Now I can compile this. It's already compiled. Sorry, I can run this as Java, and the hello world is the entry point. You get the same results. Now what if I go back one folder into C projects and try to run it again? it won't find the hello com.main.hello world, it won't find it because this package is under my project. So what if we want to run from the C projects? This is where the class path variable or CP comes into picture. So if you want to see what options you can run your Java C or Java command with, you just type in the Java command. It'll give you the options you can run with. So here -CP stands for class path, which is a short form for class path. So you can also provide hyphen class path. So now let's go and run this again. So we can say Java -CP is a class path. So now we are running from the projects folder, but we are saying our class path is beginner-project proj-1. So this is where all the com main hello world is. So through class path we are saying where to find this, and now it'll work. So now we get the same output. So this is the power of class path, and basically you specify a class path so your Java program knows where your .class files are residing. So in Java, all the packages and the project that you create, basically you can create an archive of your project. So that will include the project and the packages underneath. So this is what's called a JAR, J-A-R. So it stands for Java Archive. So which is nothing but a zip file. So you can open it with any 7-zip and inspect the files. And inside the JDK installation bin folder, there's a jar.exe command. So basically you use the jar.exe command to create your Java archives. So if you want to know what each command means, you can type just jar and it'll give you options. -C means create new archive, -v means generate verbose output on standard output, -f means specify archive file name, and -c means change to the specified directory and include the following file. So let's run this jar command for our project. So what we are saying is we're running from the C projects folder, running the jar file. CVF stands for create verbose, that means it will print out what it is doing, and F means I'm going to provide the file name. So in this case our project is beginner-proj-1, and always when you build jar files you build versions, because you can have different versions of jar files. And then this -C means change folder to .beginner-project1, because you're in this folder, you're only interested in the files within that beginner-project1, and then you'll say all the files under that. That means it'll include the .java files, .class file, and so on. And now it has built an archive. So you can go to this folder, projects, and this is the archive file we built. So beginner-project1 version 1. If you want to list the contents of a jar file, you can do it in a command line. So you can do jar -tvf is to list it, and then you put the name of the archive file, and then it'll list you what's in the file. So as you can see, in the jar file we built, it also has got .java files as well. So generally the jar files are used during the runtime when you execute the java.exe. So you only really need to include the .class files, and you don't need the .java files. So to achieve that, you can change directory to our project, which is beginner-project.1, and then we can run the same jar command. So we are saying jar cvf, we are going to create beginner project whatever version .jar, and then here we are specifically saying this package and hello world.class. We are interested in the .class file, and also another package com-service package and hello service.class. So this will now include only the .class files. A better option to include the .class file is to separate the source files from the .class file. So what we can do is inside the beginner project 1, we'll create a folder called bin. And then when you compile it, we will say put all the .class files into the bin folder as opposed to putting in the same folder where the .java files are. So to do that, from the beginner project folder, we run this command. So this is saying javac compiler -d means the directory where to put the class file. So -d bin, and then you provide your star.java file. So this is package, everything, all the Java files inside this package and all the Java files inside this package. As mentioned before, if you type in just javac, it will give you the options that you have. And we are using this -d option, which is a directory, specify where to place generated class files. So if you run that now, and would have generated all the class files into the bin folder. So inside the bin folder, you can see, because you have the package as the first statement in your Java file, so you got the package com.service, so it knows it has to create that structure. So inside the bin folder, it will create a com folder. Then inside the main, you will have the hello world.class file, and inside the service, you will have the hello service.class file. Now the next step is, now we can go and say archive this bin folder. Now we can go one level up. So from the C projects folder itself, we can run the jar command -cvf. Then we are saying what's the name of our archive file is going to be. Then change directory to beginner project 1 and go to the bin folder, and all the files, dot means all the files inside the bin. So all we have is a .class file inside the bin folder. So now we can go and archive it. So all you have is the .class files that will go into the jar file. We saw earlier that when we ran the Java command for the class path, we specified the folder name, which is the beginner project 1. For the class path, we can also specify a .jar file, which is nothing but a zipped package containing all your .class file. So here we'll run the same thing again with the class path supplied with the .jar file we just created, and this .jar file was created inside the beginner project itself. This is a beginner project jar file, and then we call the main the class with the main method. So if you run this again, you'll get the same output. So for the sake of practicing, you can take it further and say you can create 2 projects. One is called beginner-project 1, and you just put the com main hello world.class into that project 1, and then you can jar it up, you can compile it, run it, jar it up, and then you can create another project called beginner project 2, and you can put the com/service hello service.class in a Java file inside that, compile it, run it, and jar it up. And then you can use the Java command, and you can say I want it in the class path, you want both the project 1 jar and the project 2 jar, and you can call the file. So I will let you guys practice this at your own time. So now we have seen the power of projects, and inside the projects you can have packages, and then you can use the class path variable to tell your Java command where to look for a particular class under which package, and so on.